Good evening and welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform, Facebook Live from 3 Best Trade Academy. Sorry we stopped abruptly in the morning. I was driving and the car just entered into a ditch, man. So we had to arrange so I had to stop abruptly because we had to arrange to get the car out of the ditch. You know, it was so much water everywhere, and everywhere cover up, and one cannot see clearly. All right, we'll continue this evening from where we stopped in the morning. In the morning, we were discussing export management company, and this evening we'll take off from where we stopped, left off discussing the export management company. This evening, I will be talking about the manufacturer export agent, which is similar to export management company. In contrast to export management company, manufacturer export agent retains its own identity by operating in its own name. So look at what has happened. An export management company basically helps you manage your export business, and it's going to export in your name. It basically manage an export business and going to export in your name. That's for an export management company. But you know what? A manufacturer export agent is going to export in his own name, not in the name of the manufacturer or exporter. So it retains its own identity. Also, the manufacturer export agent is paid a straight commission, does not engage in buying and selling arrangement with the manufacturer represented. Is paid a straight commission on the activity or services is rendering. Because of this basic difference, manufacturer export agent does not offer a manufacturer all the services an export management company offer. So, even though there are similarity between export management company and manufacturer export agent, and this is because of the fact that they both help you to ship your product out. Remember, we are trying to find a way to get buyers in Nigeria, and I'm giving an idea to individuals who are in Nigeria sourcing for good abroad, and how they can engage this agent to work with them. But more importantly is for Africa, which is why we're discussing the AFCFTA. The Africans who are in different countries around the world or around Africa that want a space in the Nigerian market, and how they can take advantage of the Nigerian market. And that's what this conversation has been all about since we started. And we're currently in episode 57. I'm hoping that we will not end up at episode 100. The way we did for export. The way we did for export. I hope we'll not end up at episode 100. However, there are occasions when manufacturer export agent assumes foreign credit risk and charge a commission. It's called Del Credit Commission. And in addition to the regular commission, so they charge an extra commission for assuming a foreign credit risk, in which case they will pay locally and wait for the money to come. They will pay locally and wait for that foreign credit. So the exporter ship on credit, they assume that foreign credit risk because they pay the exporter for it. With this their credit arrangement, the exporter's agent either guarantee payment for all orders, send to the manufacturer, or finances the transaction. Is guaranteeing the supply. That if you sell this good to my buyer, he will pay. So even though it's not handling most of the activities that export management company does, is also having some additional services that export management company typically will not be involved in. The manufacturer export agent may be most effectively used when firm wants to sell small orders to overseas buyers. When a firm wants to sell small orders to overseas buyers, that's when it can be used. Or enter a new market or sell a product that is relatively new to the consumer in overseas market. Now, let me talk about the next one. I have to rush through that because that was supposed to have been done in the morning. My objective for this evening is actually the cooperative export. In cooperative export, we have two types. We have the piggybacking and we have the export combination. We have the piggybacking and the export combination. Those are the things I'll be spending the remaining time I have this evening to talk about. Piggyback and export combination. And export combination. What is a cooperative export? See, remember, we're still talking about indirect export. And we're looking at exporting to Nigeria. And we're looking at options that can be employed or deployed to be able to have access to the Nigerian market. Basically educating our brothers. Basically educating our brothers in other parts of Africa how they can. Everybody's eyeing Nigerian market because the population is huge. The GDP is reasonable, even though it's not evenly spread. Our per capita income is nothing to write home about. Nothing to write. It's nothing to write home about. Let's hope that I understand the budget this time around is about 10 trillion. Let's hope that this budget is going to be a budget that will create the value we expect from the government if it's well implemented. Let's hope that it will take us to the next level like the president promised during his campaign. A cooperative exporter is a manufacturer with his own export organization that is retained by other manufacturers to sell in some or all foreign markets. A cooperative exporter is a manufacturer with his own export organization that is retained by other manufacturers. He has his with other manufacturers to sell in some or all the foreign market that the other manufacturer have. So I retain my identity, but we come together to sell in another market. Cooperative export organization represent a cross between indirect and direct. Indirect in the sense that I'm not directly exporting, direct in the sense that I'm part of the organization exporting. For a manufacturer using this type of organization in an export marketing channel, indirect export is being engaged. Indirect export is being engaged in since the specific cooperative organization is not administratively a part of the manufacturer organization. Since the for a manufacturer using an organization in an indirect marketing channel, indirect export is being engaged in since this organization is not administratively. It's not administratively a part of the manufacturer organization. So I'm part of the cooperative. We are working together for export, but I am not administratively in charge of that organization that is exporting my item. Let me give an example. I export pap to the UK. I export beans flour. I export a number of other products to the UK. Sometimes we combine different products together. It's an indirect export for people bringing those products on board. It's an indirect export to them. We literally work together to ship together because they get paid when we get paid, because they're not paid off like a merchant. But administratively, we do the export on their behalf. We do the export on their behalf. And it helps us to be able to create market for Nigerian products, Nigerian manufacturers, using the platform we have created with buyers we work with in Europe. On the other hand, there is a sense of direct exporting occurring since a manufacturer can exert some administrative control over operating policy of the organization. They can tell us how they want payment to be made, the documentation. They say have a measure of control on how they want us to do or deal as far as the transaction is concerned. Unlike if I bought it off them, they don't have control again. There are two types of cooperative international marketing organization. Two types. The piggyback marketing and the export combination. Piggyback marketing and the export combination. And I will want to include one which I call the aggregated export. Aggregated export program. What we do is the aggregated export program, but look at the piggyback market and I will tell you the difference between what we do and this one. Now, so if you're going to ship into Nigeria, people try to ship together. You know, exporters get other exporters and they ship together into the Nigerian market, especially when they are selling complementary products. Piggyback marketing, also known as mother henning, occurs when one manufacturer, who is the carrier, uses its foreign distribution facility to sell another company's product alongside his own. A manufacturer uses leverage on its own relationship to sell another company's product. Typically not a competing product, by the way. Typically not a competing product. There are alternative ways in which this can be handled. All types of products have been exported by these techniques, including textile, industrial machinery, industrial and electrical machinery, industrial equipment, electrical equipment, chemicals, consumer soft goods, books, have all been done in this form. Piggyback marketing is used for products from different companies that are not competitive but complementary. They are not competitive, but they are complementary or non-complementary or non-related. I'm exporting pap. I pick up beans flour from somewhere else and I ship them together, complementary. I'm exporting pap. I get beans cake from somewhere else. I ship them together, complementary. I'm exporting pap. I get cream, shea cream, and ship them together, non-complementary. When I ship it with beans flour, it is complementary but not competing, even though they are both food. That means one helps to sell the other. One helps to sell the other. One helps to sell the other. Complementary, complementary. This is so critical and so important. Complementary but not competing. Complementary but not competing. The particular relationship depends to a large extent upon the motive of the large, already exporting company that owns the platform. In the past, some companies such as General Electric in the United States have viewed piggybacking as a way of broadening the product line they can offer to a foreign market. They feel that marketing allied products help them to market their own products. Other companies engage in this type of operation in order to bolster decreasing export sales. So anyway, different people go into export for different objectives. And in this case now, the objective is, it could be like, look, if your own product is struggling and need be to keep selling, then you get other products alongside to sell. Because yours is purely struggling. Yours is basically struggling. But this is a way of ensuring that your product that is struggling does not lead to the business going down, but you are bringing another product on board to be able to export to Nigeria in this case. The next one is export combination. Export combination. A manufacturer can export cooperatively by becoming a member of some type of export combination, which can be defined as a more or less formal association of independent but competitive business firm. Sorry, I'm having a of independent but competitive business firm. With membership being voluntary, but they are organized for the purpose of selling the foreign market. One of them is Marketing Cooperative Association. The other is Export Cartel. Export Cartel. Export Cartel. You know what Export Cartel basically do? Export Cartel ensure their own market is retained and no other person have access in order to keep their share. Marketing Cooperative Association of producer or merchandiser that engage in exporting member products. The first type of exporting combination is the normal domestic marketing cooperative, as is commonly found in certain primary product industry. For example, citrus fruit, nut, and other type of agricultural product. Citrus fruit, nut, and other agricultural product. The export operation of such organizations are essentially the same as the export operation of manufacturers and intermediaries. I'll take that again. Marketing Cooperative Association of producer or merchandiser that engage in exporting member products. So people can come together and say, okay, we want to export to Nigerian market. We cannot, one person cannot fill a container because a finished product, but we can come together and we can fill a container together. We can come together and we can fill a container together. How are we able to do that? We're able to fill a container together because we have more product by virtue of our numbers. We have more product by virtue of our numbers. But how about the export cartel? A cartel is said to exist when two or more independent business firms in the same or affiliated field of economic activity join together for the purpose of exerting control over a market. join together for the purpose of exerting control over a market. I don't recommend that, because that is a way of using your big muscle to shield away small businesses from having access in the market, and I don't think that's good enough. I don't think that's good enough. So I've discussed today export combination, I've discussed piggyback marketing and export combination under cooperative export, and I've also discussed manufacturer export agent. Remember, we are discussing strategy you can deploy to enter into Nigerian market from your country. How you can enter into Nigerian market from your country. I will move on tomorrow, and I will shift gear tomorrow to direct export. I know a lot of people want to do direct export to Nigeria, and I'll be talking about some of the things you can do direct export. Thank you very much for listening. See you tomorrow, and bye for now.